علمي من الرحمن ذي الآلاء بالله حزت الفضل لا بدهائي كيف الوصول إلى مدارج شكره.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our dear viewers, welcome to our another episode of the philosophy of the teachings of Islam, a program in which we review the masterpiece of the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam, Islami Usul-ki philosophy, that is the philosophy of the teachings of Islam. Previously, we tried to introduce the second theme, that is the state of man after death. Viewers, we have had a lot of questions from our esteemed viewers still, and we thank you for following us. My name is Kadek Mumin, your host, and today I've moved with Sheikh Haruna Iga. Before we continue, Sheikh Haruna, we have one of the viewers. You remember, because previously we were talking of how important could be us knowing the state of man after death. Where you told us that it is according to the deeds you do that your soul will gain the body. And you also told us that there are some rewards. That is the wives, the milk, and even the waters in the heavens. I would request our production team to bring to us the question asked by our viewer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Katuta and my question is, what is meant by the rivers of water, milk and wine in heavens? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We thank you a lot for viewing us. May the Almighty Allah reward you abundantly. Sheikh Sahib, you've heard what our viewer has asked, which is what is meant by the rivers of water and the milk and wine in the heavens.
نعم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear our extinguished viewers of MTA, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, the host, for granting me this opportunity. Now, as we looked at this issue in our previous episode, that Allah the Almighty promised the believers, those who do good deeds, that they have their reward, and those who do wrong, they have their reward also. Now, Allah the Almighty, when we read in Surah Al-Baqarah, that is the second chapter of the Holy Quran, verses 26, okay? Allah the Almighty says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبشر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أن لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار كلما رزقوا منها من ثمرة رزقا قالوا هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل وأتوا به متشابها. That is, give glad tidings to those who believe and work perfect righteousness, that they will inherit gardens beneath which rivers flow. Okay, so now you have asked me about the rivers of milk. As you introduced that the believers will be given the rewards. So now the rivers which are flowing beneath, okay, the garden which will be rewarded to these people, they are explained in another chapter, that is Surah Muhammad, Surah Muhammad, that is the 47th chapter of the Holy Quran, verse 16. Allah the Almighty says, talking about the Jannah I have just talked about, that مثل الجنة التي وعد المتقون فيها أنهار من ماء غير آسن وأنهار من لبن لم يتغير طعمه وأنهار من خمر لذة للشاربين وأنهار من عسل مصفى ولهم فيها من كل الثمرات ومغفرة من ربهم كمن هو خالد في النار وسقوا ماء حميما فقطع أمعاءهم. The translation is as follows: a description of the garden promised to the righteous. Therein are rivers of water which corrupts not, and rivers of milk of which the taste changes not, and rivers of wine, a delight to those who drink, and rivers of clarified honey, and in it will they have all kinds of fruit, and forgiveness from their Lord. Can those who enjoy such bliss be like those who abide in the fire, and who are given boiling water to drink so that it tears their bowels? Okay, so the verse I read, which is in the Surah to Al-Baqarah, verse 26. So those rivers which are promised to the believers, okay, they are explained here. Rivers of milk, rivers of wine, okay, rivers of water and honey, okay. So now we know that hereafter, or the life hereafter, the things which are promised to us, they are never ever material, okay. So what does it mean? That whatever it is mentioned here in the Holy Quran, which is going to happen in the hereafter, and we see it in this earth, it is metaphorical, okay. It is metaphorical. Therefore, while Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam giving the explanation of this verse, he says that he first of all gave the translation, okay, tafsiri translation or detailed translation. He says that the garden promised to the righteous is as if it has rivers of water that corrupts not, and rivers of milk of which the taste changes not, and rivers of wine which do not inebriate, a delight for those who drink, and rivers of pure honey which has no impurity. Now, if we say that the rivers or the milk we drink here on the earth is the same, then it will be wrong. That is the same which is going to be given to us on the day of judgment. It is wrong. Rather, it has another meaning. And this meaning was well explained by the promised Messiah alayhi salam. And if you could allow me, I would quote word by word as it was stated by the promised Messiah in this regard. He says, and I quote, "It is clearly stated here that heaven should be understood as a metaphorically comprising exhaustible or unlimited streams of these bounties." Okay, it is metaphorical. He says that this means that the water of life which a person of spiritual understanding drinks in this life will be manifested visibly in the hereafter. The spiritual milk by which he is sustained like a suckling in this life will become physically visible in heaven. He says that the wine of God's love, which inebriated him all the time spiritually in this life, will be manifested in the shape of rivers in heaven. And the honey of the sweetness of faith, which a person possessing spiritual understanding swallowed spiritually in this world, will be manifested and felt physically in heaven. he said that every dweller of heaven will proclaim his spiritual condition openly through his gardens and rivers. So God will unveil himself on that day for the dwellers of heaven. He says that, in short, spiritual conditions will not remain hidden in the hereafter, but will be physically visible and perceptible. Now, the Prophet Muhammad, in short, is explained to us. Take an example. Let me take the example of the wine. It is the wine of the love of Allah the Almighty the person has on this world.
Not what makes people drunk.
Not what makes people drunk. Because he said that the wine which does not intoxicate somebody, okay? And this is the love somebody has for Allah the Almighty. You know, I will give you an example of the prophets. When the prophets are being hurt, persecuted, and everything evil is done against the prophet, he will never care, because he has drunk the love of Allah the Almighty, and he is intoxicated by the love of Allah the Almighty. So in that sense, he's drunk, but not this wine. That's what Allah the Almighty is telling us, the wine which does not intoxicate somebody. Okay? Even the Holy Prophet, the Promised Messiah, alayhi salam, it says that if the love of the Holy Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in fact, he said that he is intoxicated with the love of the Holy Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he said that if, because of this love I have for the Holy Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you call me a kafir or a disbeliever, then I'm happy. For that case, I have no problem. You call me whatever you want,
so long as I'm in the love
of the Holy Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You understand? Now, this shows that in the hereafter, our deeds, okay, will be physically seen.
Because you've told us that they will be there will be our bodies, so we have to see them physically.
Now you have to see them physically.
Yes.
You know, now in this world it is hidden, but hereafter it will be manifested physically. The sadaqah you are doing, the night you wake up in the night and you glorify Allah the Almighty, you pray, okay, all these ibadat, they are not physical, okay, they are hidden. The evil deeds you do secretly, in the dark, it will be manifested on the day of judgment. Whatever we do, it will be manifested, because what we are doing, these spiritual deeds we are doing, they are spiritual, okay? And the spiritual deeds are not manifested here, they are hidden. But on the day of judgment, they are going to be physical and they can be seen by everyone.
Thank you, Sheikh Sahib. I think our beloved viewer has gotten the answer to his question. Sheikh Sahib, any supplement?
Yes. Our Nani Ahmadi Muslim brothers, in fact, they take everything to be literal, okay? And they are eager to die and find those rivers of wine, okay, of milk, of honey, okay? But we are so blessed that the Promised Messiah alayhi salam came and explained everything for us.
Remember, the whole Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam promised us that one time people would be in a state of wrongdoing. So the reformer will come. Good enough, the Ahmadis, we've already believed that the reformer came and he has tried, he has done whatever it is required to elaborate what Islam is and what a religion should be.
Of course. So, to clarify this, our viewers, so whatever will be in heaven, okay, everything is going to be spiritual. Don't think that you get the honey you have here on the earth, because this one, it spoils. The milk, it spoils. But the Quran says that the milk, okay, the rivers of milk in the hereafter, they will never spoil. Okay? So this automatically shows that everything is different.
Maybe also our viewers should know that one of the hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that
الدنيا
الدنيا
سجن
سجن للمؤمن وجنة للكافر.
نعم.
And the paradise for and how can I term it? And the hell for the Muslims.
That
or for the believers.
the world is a hell for
is
the
a
believers,
hell, yes.
and it is a paradise for the non-believers.
Yes.
Yes.
So for us to go through that strain or to achieve what we want, let's agree to go through the hell from the earth, and we enjoy the rivers of love for God in the heavens.
In fact, to add on that, the Promised Messiah said that, in fact, a human being or a person starts to build his paradise with his own hands on this earth. Okay? So the moment you die, you find that's something you built with your own hand. That's why the verses under discussion, this one, that they find the fruits, okay, on the day of judgment, and they say, هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل. This is what was given to us before. Okay? So while the Promised Messiah explained this verse, okay, he says that what God Almighty has said here is that those who believe and work righteousness build a paradise with their own hands, and the trees of which are their faith, and the streams of which are their righteous actions. Okay? So, as is explained very well in this verse,
Our viewer would like to know,
no.
what is the reality of the river, of the rivers of wine and milk and waters as promised in the heavens?
Now, yeah, that one, in fact, we have, in the beginning, I quoted the saying of the Promised Messiah, and he explained it very well, okay, that the reality of this is not that whatever is promised to us, okay, which is physical here, that is going to be given to us in the hereafter. Rather, there is an interpretation of this, okay, because this milk here, wine, it is a material something, and as the Prophet ﷺ explained very well, and we have discussed it already, that the wine, okay, is not this wine we have on the earth. Rather, it is the love of somebody for Allah the Almighty, that whatever we did, okay, on this earth, it is going to manifest itself on the day of judgment. Okay, and the garden is promised to the believers. Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam has explained very well that the trees of which are their faith, and the streams of which are the righteous acts of people. So, in it, by saying that هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل, that's what we were given before, it doesn't mean that the fruits which are here on the earth, take an example of the mango, and fruit,
The oranges.
the oranges, that you are going to see it and say, this is what I was given before, I tasted it before. No, here it is the deeds of somebody. That you remember that I used to wake up in the night and I pray. I used to do sadaqah. I used to do this ibadat.
Now, the reason of you doing that, or you planted already that, you are now getting the fruit.
The fruits of it. And you recognize that, this is in fact the reward of what I did. The tree I planted on the earth
has already
grown, and now I'm harvesting the fruits. Okay, so that's what the Promised Messiah has explained to us regarding this verse. In this very verse, something interesting is azwaja. Okay, azwaja here, some people they interpret it as the wives. Okay, but here is not wives, rather it is the company. In fact, when I read the translation, it goes as follows, that and they will have their mates perfectly pure. So the mates there, it is not meant the wives.
In fact, that has reminded me of the question I asked you in the previous episode, that you are telling us getting wives, or the mates. So again, you are going to produce in heavens.
And in this way, normally you find that the ladies, okay, they are complaining that men are promised wives in the heaven, okay, that they will find wives in the heaven. Then what about us? Who will marry us? Okay, so this is a misconception or misunderstanding. Here, azwaja means the mates that you are going to be with righteous people, okay? As Allah the Almighty said that wakunu ma'aswadikin, that keep the company of righteous people. So once you are a righteous person, the same way in the hereafter you are going to keep the company of righteous people. So that's what Allah the Almighty is mentioning here, that walahum fiha azwajun mutahharatun, that they are going to have pure mates in the heaven.
We thank you still, because you are helping us understand what the promised Messiah was trying to say. In fact, you even brought how did he explain, or how did he give the tafsir of different verses that you've even given us. Our dear viewers, it would be absurd if you are not following us, and so absurd that you don't have the book Islami Usul Ki Philosophy. That is the philosophy of the teachings of Islam. Remember, in this book, the promised Messiah stated the 3 Quranic states with regards to the conditions of the life after death. May you try to elaborate them to us?
Yes, in fact, Allah the Almighty has explained very well in the Holy Quran those 3 insights in Surah Takathur, where Allah the Almighty says that Alhaakum at-takathur, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhaakum at-takathur hatta zurtumul maqabir, kalla sawfa ta'lamun, thumma kalla sawfa ta'lamun, kalla law ta'lamuna ilma al-yaqin, latarawunna al-jahim, thumma latarawunnaha 'ayna al-yaqin, thumma latus'alunna yawma idhin 'anil na'im. While Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam giving the explanation, okay, of this verse, he states that in fact that is the desire of increase in worldly possession beguiles you till you reach the grave. He says, do not set your hearts upon the world. You will soon come to know the vanity of your pursuits. I say again, you will soon come to know how mistaken you are in pursuing the world. If you had possessed the certainty of knowledge, you would surely see hell in this very life. But you will see it with the certainty of sight in your middle state, that is barzakh. Then you shall be called to account on the day of judgment, and the torment will be imposed on you, and you will know hell through your experience.
Time may not allow us to go deep to that, but our dear viewers, this book is quite interesting, and it is so good that you read this book through thoroughly, because whenever you read it, you get another thing that is new to you from the very book that you are reading. Time over time. Sheikh Sahib, I do believe you would like to add on or to draw more light on what you have just quoted from the Prophet.
Briefly, here we are given 3 insights. We have what we call ilmul yaqeen, the knowledge that you have, in fact, is known as certainty by inference. That is ilmul yaqeen, that you have the knowledge about something. Then we have what we call aynul yaqeen, that is certainty by sight. Then we have what we call haqqul yaqeen, and certainty by realization. That's why Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam has explained the verse in this way, that you people, you know that there is hell, okay? Once you do bad deeds, the result will be hell. you know it. That is ilm al-yaqeen. Now, in the barzakh, you have what we call ainul yaqeen. As we explained in the previous episode, that in this state of barzakh, somebody will know that in fact I'm going to hell, because you start to feel the breeze coming to him from the hell. Okay, that is ainul yaqeen. You are in the barzakh, but you are seeing the hell, and you know where you are heading to. Now, when we come to haqqul yaqeen, that is certainty by realization. That is when, after the day of judgment, after resurrection, that you enter in the hell and you feel it. That is what we call haqqul yaqeen. That's why Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam has explained it, or has given the translation with explanation. Okay, so those are the 3 insights mentioned in the Holy Quran.
I do thank our dear viewers for following us, and even our Sheikh Sahib, who has ever endured to give us his time towards our discussion. I thank you a lot, and may Allah reward you abundantly. Thank you for following us. Remember, it is always time that is against us. I remain Kadek Mumin Qasim. Still, I remind you, if you need the book Islami Usul Ki Philosophy, the philosophy of the teachings of Islam, visit our website www.alislam.org. You will find it there. We meet in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
علمي من الرحمن ذي الآلاء بالله حست الفضل لا بدهائي كيف الوصول إلى مدارج شكره